Don't skip this. You need to hear it? Have you ever sensed that something was off about someone? Maybe it was subtle, an invisible weight in the air, an unease you couldn't explain. They smiled, spoke kindly, and even seemed helpful at first, yet something deep inside whispered. Something isn't right. Evil doesn't always arrive with a snarl or a villain's mask. It rarely announces itself. Instead, it hides behind charm, disguises itself as kindness, and infiltrates your life before you even realize it. These people don't always need a reason to harm you. They do it because it's in their nature. But they don't use force. They manipulate. They deceive. They erode your confidence, your peace, and even your perception of reality. They make you question yourself, doubt your instincts, and slowly, without you noticing, they gain control. The Stoic approach to identifying evil, Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot control external events, we can control our response and who we allow into our lives. One of the most important skills in life is recognizing those who mean us harm before they get too close. Because here's the truth. Evil is rarely obvious until it's too late. The warning signs are there. If you know what to look for, the good news, evil leaves clues. There are clear warning signs, red flags that, if you pay attention, will reveal the truth about a person's character. Understanding these signs won't just help you avoid pain, it will protect your peace and reclaim your strength. What you'll learn in this video. In this video, I'll walk you through 6 powerful red flags that expose the toxic, manipulative individuals around you. By the end, you won't just be aware, you'll be armed with the knowledge to protect yourself. Before we begin, if you're serious about protecting your peace and mastering your mindset, consider subscribing because recognizing these patterns is just the beginning of your journey. Now let's get into it. Red flag 1. They constantly lie or manipulate the truth, the foundation of trust, and how they destroy it. Truth is the foundation of any relationship. Without it, everything crumbles. Yet, for some people, lying isn't just a habit, it's a way of life. They don't lie because they have to. They lie because they want to. Deception is their weapon of choice. They use it to manipulate, control, and keep you in a state of constant uncertainty. At first, their lies seem small, an exaggeration here, a slight distortion there. But over time, the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. One day, they tell you something with complete confidence only to deny it later when confronted. If you call them out, they act offended, twisting the situation so that you seem like the problem. You're overthinking it. That's not what I said. Why are you being so sensitive? Slowly, doubt creeps in. Maybe I misheard them. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe the problem is me. That's the trap. The most dangerous lie isn't what they say, it's what they make you believe. A truly malicious liar doesn't just deceive you, they reshape reality. They gaslight, twist facts, and rewrite history until you start questioning your own memory, your instincts, your perception of the world. One moment, you're certain of what happened. The next, you're lost in a fog of confusion and self-doubt. And this isn't by accident, it's by design. Because a confused mind is an easy mind to control. How to spot the pattern? Think back to a time when they could have simply told the truth but chose not to. A moment where honesty cost them nothing. Yet they still chose deception. Why? Because to them, lying is about power. They lie to create an advantage over you. Test your boundaries to see how much they can get away with. Keep you off balance so you never feel fully secure. And the most unsettling part, they never feel guilty. The Stoic response: protect your mind. Stoic understands that clarity of mind is essential for a life of virtue. If someone constantly manipulates the truth, they are not just dishonest, they are dangerous. Every interaction with them becomes a battlefield, leaving you drained, exhausted, and questioning reality. And that's exactly what they want. But you don't have to play their game. If someone in your life constantly lies, manipulates, and distorts reality, do not dismiss it as a bad habit. It is a red flag waving right in front of you. The longer you tolerate their deceit, the more control they gain over your thoughts, emotions, and sense of self. Your next move, ask yourself, do you constantly second-guess your own perception around them? Do you feel uneasy, like something is always off? Are you starting to lose trust in your own memory? If the answer is yes, step back, protect your mind, And most importantly, trust your instincts, because an evil person will never hand you the truth. It's up to you to see it for yourself. Red flag 2. They love conflict. Chaos isn't just around them, it follows them. Most people seek peace, stability, and mutual respect in their relationships. Even when conflicts arise, they try to resolve them with understanding or at least maintain a respectful distance from drama. But an evil person? They thrive on conflict. They don't just encounter drama, they create it deliberately. Tension fuels them. Watching people argue, suffer, and fall apart excites them. Much like a moth drawn to a flame, they are magnetically pulled to chaos. But unlike the moth, they aren't the ones getting burned. You are. How they stir the pot without getting caught. These people don't always start conflicts directly. That would be too obvious. Instead, they weave discord into conversations like poison. They plant tiny doubts about people in your life. Whisper half-truths to fuel jealousy and suspicion. Bring up old wounds when the timing is just right. Push subtle buttons, then act surprised when emotions explode. They don't just witness conflict, they orchestrate it. The satisfaction of watching others suffer. Picture this. You're at a family gathering. The mood is light, filled with laughter and warmth. Then this person drops a comment, one designed to provoke tension between two relatives. Within minutes, the atmosphere shifts from camaraderie to unease. And where are they? Sitting quietly in the background, watching the chaos they created unfold like an audience at a tragic play. If you look closely, you might even catch a faint flicker of satisfaction on their face. Because to them, conflict isn't stressful, it's entertaining. The Stoic lesson: control what you allow into your life. A Stoic understands that while we cannot control the storms others unleash, we can control how we respond. We can choose who we allow into our mental space. But these conflict-driven individuals want to dismantle that inner peace. They feed on tension, heartbreak, and fractured relationships. And when confronted, they'll feign innocence, I was just trying to help. Blame others, I don't know why people are overreacting. Play the victim, why are you attacking me? Why this is more dangerous than you think. Perhaps the most alarming thing about these people isn't just that they stir up drama, it's that they lack any real empathy. They don't care about who gets hurt. Every tear shed, entertainment. Every broken friendship, a personal victory. Every rise in tension, proof of their influence. They manipulate others like chess pieces without remorse. Your next move, how to protect yourself. Ask yourself, do they seem to accidentally create drama everywhere they go? Do conversations around them always seem to turn into arguments? Do they appear strangely amused when things go wrong? If the answer is yes, take a step back. Limit your exposure to their chaos. Because life is too short to waste energy on people who treat relationships like battlegrounds, a Stoic remains vigilant, choosing what influences they allow into their life. And when necessary, walking away from those who seek to drag them down. Red flag 3. They make you feel like you're always at fault. Doubt is their strongest weapon. A mind in doubt is a mind that can be controlled. Evil people understand this better than anyone. They don't need chains or threats to manipulate you. All they need is a slow, steady erosion of your confidence. They make you question yourself, your judgment, your emotions until you start relying on them to tell you what's real. How it starts: the subtle manipulation. At first, it's small. You express frustration, and they say you're overreacting. You're always so sensitive. That never happened. You're remembering it wrong. They insist you're misunderstanding, that you're too emotional, that you twist things around. And over time, you start to wonder, am I really being too sensitive? Did I actually misinterpret that? Maybe. The problem isn't them, it's me. That's exactly what they want you to believe. Gaslighting, turning reality against you. A person who truly cares about you will listen, even if they disagree. But an evil person? They don't seek understanding. They seek dominance. Their goal isn't to find truth, it's to make you feel unstable, uncertain, and ultimately dependent on them. The more you doubt yourself, the more power they gain. A classic manipulation tactic. Imagine this. You're in a disagreement, and you know you're right. You remember the conversation clearly. But they insist. That never happened. You always make things up. I can't believe you'd accuse me of that. Suddenly, you're no longer defending your point, you're defending your sanity. The Stoic response: trust in reason, not their lies. Stoics teach us to trust reason, to see things as they are, and to stand firm in what we know to be true. But gaslighting is designed to pull you away from truth to make you distrust your own mind. And once you start seeking their validation over what you already know to be real, you've handed them control. How to recognize this manipulation? Ask yourself, do you constantly feel like you're the problem around them? Are your emotions frequently dismissed as irrational or dramatic? Do you find yourself apologizing even when you're not sure why? If the answer is yes, take a step back. You do not owe your loyalty to someone who poisons your sense of self. Your next move, reclaim your reality. 1. Recognize the pattern they are rewriting reality to control you. 2. Trust your perception if something feels off. It is. 3. Set boundaries. Walk away from those who refuse to respect your truth. You are not crazy. You are not overreacting. And you do not need their permission to believe in your own reality. Red flag 4. They play the victim in every situation. The art of avoiding responsibility. Life is hard for everyone. Challenges, setbacks, and struggles are unavoidable, but how we respond to them defines our character. A strong person faces difficulties with resilience and takes responsibility for their actions. But an evil person? They wear their victimhood like armor, not to protect themselves, but to deflect accountability. They refuse to take responsibility for their choices, always finding someone else to blame. To them, nothing is ever their fault. The endless cycle of self-pity. At first, their stories of hardship may seem genuine. You may even feel sorry for them. But over time, you notice a pattern. No matter what happens, they are always the one who's been wronged. Their problems never improve no matter how much help they receive. They expect constant sympathy but never take action to fix their situation. And worst of all, they use their victimhood as a weapon. How they manipulate through guilt. They don't just want your sympathy, they want your submission. Whenever you try to hold them accountable, they turn the tables. How could you do this to me? After everything I've been through, you're really going to treat me like this? You're so selfish, I thought you cared about me. Suddenly you become the villain. Your reasonable request for respect, fairness, or boundaries, now framed as cruelty. And before you know it, you're apologizing even though they were the one in the wrong. The Stoic perspective, responsibility is power. A Stoic understands that while we cannot control external circumstances, we can control how we respond to them. A person who refuses to take responsibility for their life is not just weak, they are dangerous. Because when someone never owns their actions, they will always find a way to place the burden on you. Your next move, break free from the guilt trap. Ask yourself, do you feel guilty for setting basic boundaries? Are you constantly making excuses for them? Have you been pulled into their endless cycle of problems with no real change? If the answer is yes, take a step back. You are not responsible for fixing someone who refuses to help themselves. You do not owe your energy to someone who drains it. A person who clings to their victimhood at the expense of others is not just toxic, they are a threat to your peace. Final thought, reclaim your power. Recognize the pattern. Refuse to be controlled by their false narrative. And most importantly, walk away. Because you deserve relationships built on respect, not guilt. Red flag 5. They constantly criticize you, but never acknowledge your successes. The slow poison of constant criticism. Some wounds don't come from a single attack, they come from 1,000 tiny cuts. Not through direct insults or outright hostility, but through subtle, relentless criticism that eats away at your confidence. An evil person doesn't just want to see you fail, they want to make sure that even when you succeed, you still feel like a failure. How they undermine you, they won't celebrate your victories. Instead, they will. Downplay your achievements, that's good, but it's not that impressive. Shift the goalpost, okay, but what about this? You still haven't done that. Compare you to others, well, I did more than that when I was your age. Make it about themselves, that reminds me of my success story. And the most damaging part? Over time, their words make you doubt your own progress. You start asking yourself, was what I did even good enough? Should I have worked harder? Why do I never feel like I'm doing well? That's exactly what they want. The true purpose of their criticism. They don't criticize you to help you grow, they criticize you to keep you small. A person who genuinely cares will offer feedback with the intent to uplift you. An evil person will only point out your flaws to undermine you. Because as long as you doubt yourself, they stay in control. The Stoic perspective, measuring yourself by your own principles, the Stoics teach us that external validation is fleeting. True self-worth comes from within. But even the strongest mind can be worn down by constant negativity. Evil people understand this, that's why they work slowly, methodically, making sure that their voice becomes louder than your own. But here's what you must remember. Their words do not define you. Your progress, your growth, your success, these things belong to you. Your next move, stop seeking approval from those who want to diminish you. Ask yourself, do they always focus on your flaws but never your strengths? Do you feel drained after sharing good news with them? Do you downplay your own success to avoid their criticism? If the answer is yes, it's time to step back. No one has the right to make you feel unworthy. Recognize the pattern. Protect your confidence, and never let someone else's bitterness become the measure of your worth, because your growth is not theirs to control. Red flag 6. They display no empathy or compassion, the coldest truth about evil people. If there's one trait that separates a virtuous person from a truly dangerous one, it's empathy. The ability to share in another's joy, feel their pain, and recognize the humanity in others. This is what binds people together. But an evil person? They feel nothing. Not for you, not for anyone. Their indifference is chilling. You could be suffering, breaking under the weight of grief, and they will stand there unmoved. If they acknowledge your pain at all, it will be with cold detachment. Life's unfair. Get over it. Everyone goes through hard times. It's not a big deal. You're acting dramatic. It's not that serious. Or worse, they'll twist the moment to make it about themselves. You reach out, desperate for support, and suddenly they are the victim. Somehow, your pain becomes an inconvenience to them. The moment their mask slips, imagine experiencing a deep personal loss, a heartbreak, a betrayal, the death of a loved one. You turn to them, hoping for even the smallest display of kindness. But instead of comfort, you get a blank stare, a shrug, a dismissive. That happens to everyone. In that moment, their lack of humanity becomes impossible to ignore. The Stoic perspective strength is not apathy. Stoicism teaches us to temper our emotions, to remain resilient in the face of adversity. But true strength is not the absence of emotion. It is choosing to act with wisdom and compassion, even when life is difficult. Evil people mistake apathy for power. They see others not as human beings, but as tools, things to be used, discarded, or ignored when no longer useful. Their emotional emptiness creates a suffocating presence. When you're around them, you don't feel seen. You don't feel understood. You feel alone. And that is exactly how they want you to feel, because isolation makes you easier to control. Your next move, walk away before their emptiness drains you. Ask yourself, do they dismiss your emotions no matter how much you're struggling? Do they act indifferent to the pain of others? Do they only show concern when they have something to gain? If the answer is yes, believe them. A person without empathy is not simply emotionally distant or bad at expressing feelings. They are dangerous. Because if they cannot care about your pain, they will have no hesitation in causing it. The absence of empathy is the biggest warning sign of all. You cannot find warmth in someone who has none to give. Recognize the warning. Protect your spirit. And never waste your time trying to change someone who lacks a heart. Walk away before their emptiness drains you too. Recognizing the truth isn't easy, but it will save you. I know this may feel like a lot to take in. Recognizing these red flags isn't always easy, especially when emotions are involved. When you care about someone, it's natural to want to see the best in them. But ignoring the truth won't make it go away. Evil people don't always come with a warning. They slip into your life unnoticed, chipping away at your confidence, your peace, your sense of self. Until one day, you wake up and realize you don't even recognize yourself anymore. But here's the truth. You don't owe your energy to those who drain you. The moment you recognize these patterns, you have a choice. A choice to step back, protect yourself, reclaim your power. Even if it's difficult, even if it means walking away from someone you once trusted. Final reminder, your peace is more valuable than their presence. You deserve relationships built on respect, trust, and empathy. Not ones that leave you exhausted, doubting yourself, and constantly walking on eggshells. So remember this, your peace is worth more than their presence. Your intuition is more trustworthy than their lies. And you do not need anyone's permission to walk away from what no longer serves you. If this video resonated with you, I want to hear your thoughts. Have you ever encountered someone like this? How did you handle it? Or are you still navigating that situation? Share your story in the comments. You never know who might need to hear it. Join the community of growth if you're on a journey of self-growth, mental clarity, and emotional resilience. This is just the beginning. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications because we're diving deep into recognizing toxic people, building unshakable confidence, mastering your mindset with Stoic wisdom. Until next time, take care of your heart, guard your mind, and always trust your instincts.